Good evening, all. How about, do you know what? You've thrown me straight away, Richard, because before we went live, we was all having a laugh, and you've got me on the op. Sorry about that. Asterix has got his brew and his vape ready. Well, I've got me brew. I haven't got any vape at the moment. You're right, boys.
Asterix isn't the only cartoon character on the stream tonight. That's all I'm going to say, Danny. Do you know what I mean?
Do you want to...
Let's get the elephant out of the room, shall we? Just obviously everyone's seen
the elephant. The elephant.
Yeah, the elephant. The YouTube video with Paul sitting on a little toadstool with the. Go on, Paul. Pull your ears back. See if we can.
Right.
Get
so
some
this.
Sort of...
we are True Patriots YouTube channel. You've got to see the Christmas song, and I'm going to do a quick impression of what do they call it? A meme, or what do they call it?
Well, it's an elf, isn't it?
It's an elf on a shelf.
Ready? Are you ready?
Go on. It's quite accurate, Rich, isn't it?
Mate,
it's quite good.
You know what? Hope Not Hate are going to screenshot that, right? And that's going to be their pick on next year's countdown of hate. That's going to be the picture for Paul.
Oh, dear. Oh, Fiona says, has anyone had a power cut today? I personally haven't, Fiona, but I haven't got a lot of power to cut, to be honest with you.
I've had a couple of power cuts today, but I managed to wake up.
Oh, dear. Let's have a little look through. Sorry about that. Look, we've got nearly 2,000 people watching already. And
it's already carnage.
They got the Three Musketeers. What does that sound there?
Don't panic.
God, blimey.
Picture of Private Jones.
What a start to the show. What a complete... I used to try and do this very professionally, and always it's just all gone wrong.
It's gone downhill, Paul. Yeah, I was going to say, I blame Richard.
Charlton Bill says, the Alex Phillips interview with Liam Tuff's good watch.
Awesome.
I tell you, I did watch earlier, and I thought it was absolutely excellent. His name's gone out of my mind. The young guy that was on with Peter Will.
Connor Tomlinson.
Connor Tomlinson. What a young man that is.
Superb.
Wow. Amazing. Right, let's get into the show if we can try and get our act together. Now, we've got a lot of very interesting stuff going on tonight. Later on, we're going to clarify Tommy's message, Refrom. A few people appear to have misrepresented or misunderstood it, Richard. And there have been a few things being put out there that are actually a bit inaccurate. But we'll talk about that later. We're going to talk about the Donald Trump, the man himself, and Elon Musk later on as well. But we've got a few videos to go through, first of all, and a couple of pretty serious subjects. Along the way, we're going to try and hopefully have a giggle or two. But let's have a little look at one or two of the chats. Exposing corruption in GMP. Evening, Richard and the guys. You're first now, Richard. It's not evening.
Getting there. Well done, mate. The check's in the post.
Not evening, Paul and the guys. Look,
nope.
Kerry, good evening, fellas. Hope all is well. Kerry's nearly there. Let's have a look. W. Cartist, hello everyone. Right, so welcome everyone. 2,371 people watching. Let's get started. So I think we'll start with, for me, a video that some of you may have seen it, but I can't resist having one more look. Have a look at Angela Rayner today. She is our Deputy Prime Minister talking about housing. Watch this.
All right, let me ask you about another element of this. On the present densities, you're going to add 3.4 million, or homes for 3.4 million people with your 1.5 million houses. On your own figures, we're also going to add to our population 2.5 million people over this same period. Are you content that more than 5 out of 7 new homes will go to immigrants?
Well, that's not the truth, and that's not the
That's
case.
what will happen.
Well, that's not the reality, because where the
2.5 million immigrants that are in Rachel V's budget figures going to turn up? Where are they going to live?
Well, there's plenty of housing in the UK, but the houses, especially
hang on. You can't, on the one hand, say we've got to build this 1.5 million houses, and then say there's plenty of housing already.
There is plenty of housing, Trevor, already, but there's not enough for the people that desperately need it. So the homes, especially under our affordable homes programme, which is social and affordable housing, there will be there for people who desperately need them, local people. We've already outlined how we're going to support veterans and people who are fleeing domestic violence.
Okay.
Councils need homes for people that are on the waiting list. I've already announced changes to the right to buy, making sure they
But this
have
doesn't quite make sense.
so that we can deliver
Deputy
the
Prime
houses
Minister,
they desperately need.
Deputy Prime Minister, doesn't quite make sense. You start the interview by telling me that there's a housing crisis. When I remind you that you have said yourselves as a government, we're going to need 2.5 million migrants. Some of them, by the way, people are going to build the houses. Suddenly, there's a lot of housing. Where are these people going to go?
Well, Trevor, first of all, when you say about building as well, the previous government did use migrant labour far too much instead of actually building skills here in the UK. I've announced £140 million for new construction hubs so that we can train people here to deliver those housing. So I don't accept that we're going to bring migrants in for that. We've always said that actually we need to skill our own people up. But equally, we need to build the homes that people need. Nobody's had a focus on social housing for a generation, and I'm going to build those homes because far too many people at the moment are waiting on council housing lists, and I've got to fix that.
Do you know what, Paul? Can I just jump in? That's the first Labour interview I've seen since I've been in where they haven't mentioned a £23 billion black hole that they've left us. Do you know what I mean? That's the first ever interview.
Where do we even start with that? I mean, first of all, look, 3.4 million new homes, of which 2.5 million of them, 5 out of 7 will go to migrants. But she had to get the word veteran and victims of domestic violence in. She says there's plenty of housing already. Well, I don't know where that is, Richard. Do you?
Well, listen, I'm just chuffed to bits. I'm getting a house.
Yeah.
I'm not a victim of domestic violence, so veterans are getting houses. So I mean, I'm pretty stoked with that, to be honest with you.
But I mean, let's just
where's the money coming from, Paul? I thought they were broke. Where's the money coming from for all this?
Well, just for a moment, let's have a look. Labour have always had a magic money tree. Let's just have a look at that. I mean, Trevor Phillips said you tell us we're going to need 2.5 million migrants. Why would we need 2.5 million migrants? Why do we need another 2.5 million people?
Paul, because you've got to understand that migrants do so much for the economy. Because they're bringing so much wealth with them, so much money that, they just contribute all the time.
And the great thing is they never get sick. They never put any pressure on the NHS.
Nope.
They don't need school places.
They don't commit
They're not
any
taking
crime.
any jobs. There's no prison spaces.
They're all brain surgeons.
I
They're all physicists.
I can't work out a negative, Rich. I don't know about you.
No, I can't either. Computer scientists. It's wonderful.
It's all good. It's all good.
But that is a mind-bending statistic. If they are accurate, when we have no reason to disbelieve them, 3.4 million new houses, of which they won't all get built. If they say they're going to, if they say they're going to build, and I'd like to know where they're going to build them as well. 3.4 million houses, and 2.5 million of them will go to migrants, many of whom will have come here illegally. I find that just that's not a car crash interview. That's a train wreck, surely.
Absolutely.
Well, I mean, it's interesting coming from Trevor Phillips. I mean, you look at the way Trevor Phillips interviewed Farage about the issues he was talking to Farage about, and he wasn't half as aggressive with the Ginger Growler as he was with Nigel. So, again, it's two-tier interviewing. He pushed back a bit, but he didn't push back enough, did he?
No, not enough. Not for my liking. I mean, at the end of the day, that is. I mean, you don't want to spend every bloody video you do moaning and whining.
But there's plenty of moan and whine about, though, Paul, aren't there?
But those figures, I mean, look, my 2 daughters, they can't get a house. And they're both working. They're both self-employed. They both got partners. They've all got decent jobs, but they still can't get a mortgage. They still can't buy their own property. 3.4 million new homes.
Where is this money coming from?
Unbelievable.
3.4 million new homes.
Unbelievable. We're going to go through the topics one by one tonight. That was the first one. Epic 2000, thank you. Rayner is in bed with the house builders by the looks of it. I know the Tories received 25% of their funding from them. Can't we name and shame the donors who will benefit? Protest at their offices. That might be one for you, actually, Richard. You like a protest?
Do you know what? I think, as much as I like protests, I think what we're doing with the events, obviously we've got the next one on the 1st of February. I think what we're doing with the events is far more effective. And I think the biggest effect we can have is getting everybody to register to vote. Because the only way we're solving this is we're voting our way out of it. Now, that brings us to another question, which we're not going to ask tonight. But the reality is, the only solution is a political solution. And I tell you what, all of the politicians on our side of the fence, and I mean all of them, need to get their act together and sort their lives out and start getting this right. Because the infighting, the squabbling, the micro parties here, there and everywhere and all the rest of it.
It's just dividing it up again.
I'm getting fed up with it. And that's why the pledge is the most important political initiative in the country at the minute. Way past anything else. Yeah. And we've got to get people behind the pledge, because that will call these egotistical, arrogant politicians, even on our side, to account, because they need to get a grip, because our country's going down the toilet and our politicians, all of them, are failing us at the minute.
Absolutely. Mike on a trike, thank you. Evening, chaps. Get yourselves a Christmas tip. Oh, I've got the Christmas lights up. To be honest, I had to throw them up, really, but there you go.
Sadly, I've had to. I'm in the corridor of a hotel because
Danny, tell us where you are first of all.
I arrived in Madrid 3 or 4 days ago, just for a little break. We've had a bit of a rough time lately, as probably most of the people know on there. So we've just come to Madrid for a few days, staying in a lovely hotel. But I've been down reception. They're playing music and stuff, and there's loads of people coming in. The bar's still open. The restaurant's clanging plates. Sophie and Carter are sleeping in the room just around the corner here. So I'm in a corridor of the hotel, hopefully not speaking too loud. Decent Wi-Fi service, though, by the looks of things, because I always have a problem with the Wi-Fi when I'm away.
Well, Danny, I don't feel sorry for you, because this time last week I was in Spain sunning myself. Today I went outside to put the rubbish out and I had a shave.
Yeah, mate, I'll tell you what, I've heard it's bad.
The wind took it all away. The wind took it all away.
Yeah, stopped the boats, though, for a few days.
Did we see the video? There's a very good video going around last couple of days. There's one at that a manor, and there's another one where the guy gets into the migrant hotel and they've got all the heating and full on. And have you seen that?
I have seen them. Yeah, I've seen it. It's worth. You ain't got any clips of that, have you?
Oh, I haven't, Danny. No, because it's someone else.
Yeah, it's a long old video as well.
Yeah. Unbelievable.
All free, mate. We're paying for it.
For sure. Let's have a little look at another video I've got here. This one's a little bit more light-hearted, or at least I think it is. Can anyone tell me what's going on here?
Bad Santa.
Santa's been collared.
Sad sack Santa.
So I thought that might have been Richard, actually,
Well, actually, I have shaved since then, Paul.
Let's have another look. Hold on a minute.
Changed my identity.
I'll tell you what, if you watch, as he gets into the van, he does
similarities.
He does a bit of a Richard. Watch again, look. Watch closely. Watch as he gets into the van.
Try to say he's a bit of a dick.
Did you see that?
All we're missing is a pug.
What are you talking about?
All we're missing is a pug.
I was just hoping he didn't have a big stain on his trousers. I thought that would have been really embarrassing,
Now we got another one. This I want your captions for this one, right? So I want to know. I want to know what Donald Trump is saying to Emmanuel Macron. What is he saying? Put it in the chat. Watch the video and watch the handshake. More importantly, this is a daddy's home handshake, right? Look, watch. What do you reckon?
He didn't want to be there, did he, old Trump? He's sitting there giving it that I'm the bigger man.
The boss.
I'll tell you what,
exactly that.
I reckon he was only 2 seconds away there from Macron squealing with that handshake. You know that?
They must be cacking themselves, a few of them, especially
I think
our government.
the caption is, "How many assassin's bullets have you dodged, Emmanuel?" That's the.
So, guys, let's have your guesses, guesses or captions as to what Donald Trump is saying.
It must be a worrying time now, mustn't it, for the Labour Party that, they've all slagged them off, Khan included, with the little balloon that he put up a few years ago, embarrassing themselves. And obviously Europe in general, Ukraine at the moment, there's a few people coming undone with this president getting in. If he gets in,
here's one
a long
for you,
way
Paul.
away.
Could the Donald have been saying to Emmanuel, "Is it true that your wife's a bloke?"
Richard, you don't hold back, do you, mate? You don't hold back.
They just pop in and it's out there, you know what I mean?
You actually said that through your mouth. It weren't just in your brain. You do realise you've actually just said that.
What he said,
no censorship.
What he actually said was, "Hey, I know why you French eat snails, because they're the only things you can catch."
Yeah. You've just lost all our French supporters now, Paul.
Yeah.
Talking about Sadiq Khan, what do we make? This is all small talk before we get into the big topic.
Can we avoid the subject? My blood boils every time we talk about it.
I don't think it's been confirmed, is it? It's a rumor, and I mean,
I think it's well. Let's wait until January, mate. We'll see, won't we? But if that's the case, like I said, I've been a royalist since day one. I love the royal family. I always have done. Really, really patriotic royal person. And I will turn my back on the royals for the rest of my life if they knight that man. It makes a mockery of it, mate. They might as well hand it out like confetti, because what has he done? What has he done?
Well, when you look at people like David Beckham, who are gagging for a gong,
Well, he even queued up to go past the Queen's, coffin on proper, didn't he? Oh,
yeah, proper queue. Joined the queue.
Seriously, I'm not joking about that. I mean, I thought that was a brilliant, because he didn't have to do that, and he stood there with people that were just regular people. You know what I mean? So
us lot
stood there with that lot.
He stood with that lot.
Anyway, look,
he didn't stay with that lot, but he stood with that lot.
I did tell you that I don't want to keep bringing everyone bad news, so we have got some good news tonight. The army are going net zero. So if we go to war, the good news is we'll be able to blow people up without polluting any of them.
Electric vehicles.
Can you, Adam and Eve?
That's going to work well, isn't it?
Honestly, can you?
Absolutely
insanity.
Do the military?
It is a Muppet show.
Do the military not know there's these things called EMPs that take out all your electronics? Do they not realise that? If you've got electric vehicles, they might actually stop if an EMP goes off. But
well, I mean, like I said, it's not all bad news this week, because MI5 and MI6 have announced that they'll employ anyone as long as you're not white.
Is that right?
So don't worry about how good you are at your job. Don't worry. I mean, James Bond wouldn't get a job now with MI5 or MI6.
He's dead anyway.
No, definitely not. I mean, unless it was Idris Elba playing him, then he might get a job. That's a possibility. But the truth of the matter is, you've got to remember, Paul, diversity built Britain. Don't ever forget it. Diversity built Britain. I've got a coin that says it.
I mean, let's have it right. I don't really care who's working for MI5 and MI6, as long as they're law of this country and they do the job properly. Where does colour come into it?
Paul, reverse that role. Reverse it.
Incredible.
Only you're going to employ white people. Can you imagine that?
Oh, it would be everywhere, wouldn't it? I think, the reality is, let's get it right, though. The thing about this hasn't been done by black people. This has been done
not at all.
By pathetic, weak, snivelling, middle-class, woke white people who have some sort of guilt syndrome because maybe his great-great-granddad was involved in doing something unpleasant in Africa or India, and they're riddled with guilt. Well, do you know what? I don't have that problem, because I'm not riddled with guilt for anything my ancestors did. Plenty of us are riddled with guilt for what we've done, but not what our ancestors did. And that's the reality of the situation. It shouldn't matter what colour you are. What matters is whether you're qualified for the job. And what is happening with this DEI stuff and you know, the whole agenda, the whole woke agenda, is it is creating racism, and it's creating anti-white racism. It's also going to fuel the people that we've spoke against ever since we've been doing activism, the proper far right racist Nazi scumbags. It's going to give them loads and loads of credibility.
Gives them ammo, doesn't it?
It gives, yeah, and it's dividing society, and it's absolutely disgusting. And anyone that thinks this is virtuous needs to go and see a psychiatrist, you know. And I've experienced this firsthand in my business, as you know, and it just gets me so angry that this is going on. It's destroying good people's lives, and you know, it's very. See, this identity politics is so dangerous, so dangerous.
I saw a tweet earlier on someone's X account, and it said that their daughter had been to Cambridge or Oxford or one of those, and she was really wanted to join MI5, and she had all the bits and bobs, and they said, no, you're the wrong colour. Absolutely incredible.
Well, there's a serious point in this as well, Paul. I mean, you know, obviously there is a certain demographic that we can't mention that basically would have a higher proportion of terrorists per head and people who would be sympathetic with terrorism than any other. And if basically they are getting recruited, sooner or later, one or two will slip through the net who will be compromised and who will basically be a national security threat. You know, I mean, it happened. Let's be honest. It happened with people getting recruited from Oxford and Cambridge in the 1940s and 1950s that were communists at university. They joined MI5 and MI6 and became traitors. You know, Philby and all the rest of them. So this has happened before, and the whole of our civil service, our security infrastructure, our policing infrastructure, our education system, the broadcast system, the broadcast media is completely compromised and taken over by communists. That's just the truth. And we are probably some of the lone voices who are saying this is insane, this has to stop, this has to change. And you know, that's why we've got to do this, Paul. No matter how, you know, how much time it takes or what how much stress it puts us under, we've got to keep fighting this. No matter what's thrown against us, we've got to keep going.
Absolutely. Forever Marvel, have you seen Tommy's response to my question about Starmer on Susie TV? You should so play it on here. It's hilarious and brilliant. Mate, I can't play it because it's Susie's, but I did see it. And yes, it was hilarious. Amy, thank you so much. Another Liber car crash interview. Mark is a new member. If you want to help the channel out, please do become a member. Really appreciate that. Chris Carter Jackson, Ange, the gift that keeps on giving to Reform. She certainly is. Knobbing nuts. The whole Labour front bench are traitors. In recent Q&A sessions with Dominic Cummings, he stated that all the cabinet meetings are scripted and come from a higher authority. Who are they? Well, it's the civil servants. That's where it's coming from. Simon Dixon, thank you. Hi, Paul, Richard and Dan. Quickly, is it me or does Danny look like the Red Hulk? But in regards to the pledge, I'm leaving a link to it on my YouTube channel. Am I allowed to? If not, I will stop. No, Simon, absolutely. Please do.
Do it.
Red Hulk.
Pammy, look at Rupert's statistics on housing. I will do. Ray, is that Ray or Roy? Roy Everts. The money will come from investors like BlackRock and Vanguard. With Lend-Lease all over it, public-private venture with board memberships for politicians. Don't you just know it?
Yeah.
Right, let's get on to our first very serious subject of the...
Not so red now.
Of the evening. There you go, Danny. You're looking a bit pasty now, mate.
I'll tell you what, I've got to move the old... I've got a little second phone with a little spotlight on it.
Let's have a look at these couple of videos because there's been a regime change in Syria. And in a minute, I'm going to ask you guys, I don't know if you've caught up on much of this, Danny, but I've got my own thoughts on this. Let's have a look at London today. I believe this is London.
سقف الجولاني هسه اي حدا واحد اقول لكم واحد ثاني. لا لا هذا مشهور والله. هذا بضربوني يومين ونص. يا شباب عدنا بالباصات عند البرهم.
So there you go, guys. So Assad is gone. But he has been replaced with someone whose name I did know, but I can't remember it. But he's been replaced. We're getting to the meat and bones of it a little bit as we go into the conversation. But first of all, Richard, what do you make, or what do you think this? Let's get it right. What happens in Syria is not really any of our business, but it does have a big effect on what takes place here. What's your initial reaction to the regime change in Syria?
Well, I don't agree that it doesn't affect us here. It massively affects us here because the ISIS attacks that took place in between 2015 2017, right the way through Europe, including the Bataclan. I think Charlie Hebdo was maybe just before that. But the numerous van attacks, vehicle attacks right the way throughout Europe. What happened in Borough Market? What happened in Westminster? What happened maybe to a lesser extent up in Manchester with the Ariana Grande thing? All of those were ISIS-sponsored attacks. Now, what's happened is, as far as I can tell, and again, of course, the mainstream media are calling them rebels and almost celebrating the fact that that basically what is the remnants of the Al-Nusra Front? And as far as I know, the guy that runs what they call that again, Paul, the HTS or HTS. The guy that runs the HTS, sorry, I'm tired tonight, is an ex-Al Qaeda operative. And does a leopard change its spots? No. Are they massacring people? Yes, because I've seen the footage, and I'm not going to show the footage, but I've seen some pretty horrific footage. Christians are getting targeted, minorities are getting targeted. Don't believe the propaganda that they're allowing everyone to live in peace. And if they are in some areas, they won't be, because they haven't changed their mode of operation. Now, there's another very worrying thing that nobody's talking about, and that's the chemical and biological weapons that Assad had. Who's got them? Where are they? Have the Israelis gone in and bombed it? What's happened to those massive stores of chemical weapons? Because let's get it right. Sarin, all these other nerve agents that Assad had and he used, if they fall into the hands of jihadists, and remember, there's going to be a massive refugee influx from this now as well, and if they fall into the hands of jihadists and they start coming in with some of these substances into Europe, and obviously by default eventually into the UK, we're going to have a massive, massive problem. And the other point is, and it seems that Israel are kind of neutral on this, but the reality is Israel is now going to have a jihadist state up against its border, because these people are jihadists. I mean, let's not play any games here. These people are.
For those that don't know, as far as I'm aware, at least, and I'm not a geopolitician or an expert in the Middle East, but as far as I'm aware, the organisation that has now taken power in Syria is actually Al Qaeda. They're a banned, prescribed organisation in the United Kingdom. Yet the government this evening appear to be almost celebrating the fact that Assad has gone. So it's goodbye to one nightmare and hello to another.
Out of the frying pan into the fire.
Into the fire. But this is the real caveat, Danny, and a lot of people seem to have missed this. The reason that I showed those videos a minute ago of people in the UK celebrating the regime change, we're also being told that because of the regime change, a lot of Syrians will want to flee from Syria to the UK. So the ones that want to flee Syria and come into the UK are then going to be in contact with those you see in those videos celebrating the change in Syria. So you've got two sets of enemies that could potentially end up meeting here in the UK. So when I said, look, what happens in the Middle East is nothing to do with us, in theory, I believe that.
us.
What happens in Syria is their business, but ultimately, when it affects us, we have a right to have a say. Now, I'm not saying that I'm right on all of those points. I'm open to be educated. But that is what I make of it so far. And if we've got so many of those people here that are celebrating the regime change, well, they're welcome to go home now. They're celebrating. And looks like we're going to have an influx of people who are going to be at loggerheads with the ones we've just seen on those videos.
I think there's a few points in all that, Paul, and I think everything you said is absolutely accurate. It's completely correct. And the people that are celebrating in all those areas of London, if you're so happy about what's just happened in Syria, please go back to Syria with your little flags and go and build that country up. Because I would never flee my country, but if I fled my country to get away from a civil war, I'd like to think when I was able to come back, I'd return immediately and do my best to rebuild my country and start putting things back together. And I would encourage every single Syrian that's settled in the UK, that's happy about the regime change, that's happy about Al-Qaeda taking over, the Elon Refrom, as it used to be called, happy about all that, go back to Syria and live your life under that regime and see how it goes for you. You're welcome to go, and in fact, I'd like to see the government actually help you go.
And here's another thing, Danny, as well, right? This is what look, as I said, I might be getting some of this wrong, and someone that's a lot better educated on this situation might be able to put me right. And if you can, you're welcome to do so. But those people we see celebrating here today, they are celebrating the incoming of a regime that is basically Al-Qaeda and is a prescribed terrorist group in the United Kingdom. Therefore, every single one of those people celebrating in those images are surely celebrating a banned prescribed terrorist organisation. Where are the police?
Well, that seems logical.
Or have I got this wrong?
No, it seems completely logical, Paul. Completely logical. And I think the reality is with these Al-Qaeda elements, when the civil war was kicking off in earnest, and remember, if the Russians hadn't intervened and the Iranians and look, I'm no fan of the Russians or the Iranians, and the US under Trump, when Trump came to power, and they finally managed to defeat what was then ISIS, and if you remember how barbaric ISIS was, Jihadi John and all those people beheading all those aid workers, and these were Brits. These were, I think Jihadi John was a British-born Islamist. Went out there and took great pleasure talking in his thick London accent as he was hacking people's heads off with knives, and that's the reality of what they were doing. 10 years ago, right? And the Christian community in northern Iraq, because obviously ISIS and Al Qaeda don't see borders; they see the caliphate as all of those countries joined together, and they will slaughter anyone who doesn't agree with their idea, unless they've changed, unless they've suddenly become Boy Scouts and they're not slaughtering infidels anymore. Well, hopefully that'd be a great thing if that's happened, but I don't believe it for a minute. They were killing Christians, they were killing Yazidis, raping Yazidi women, burning Yazidi women alive, selling them into sex slavery in Qatar and Saudi Arabia.
Richard, if this video doesn't get flagged, you'll do it. It soon will be. Keep going.
Well, no, because the thing is, we're not talking about stuff in the UK. We're talking about what happened in the Middle East 10 years ago. It's factually correct.
Yeah, absolutely.
And the reality is that what worries me, Paul, is how quickly this took place, right? So Assad had a very strong army. He at one time he had a very sophisticated intelligence network. And the thing about Assad, he was a tyrant. He was a monster. He was an enemy of Israel. He was an enemy of the West. But he was secular. And if you were a Christian, or you were an Alawite, or you were a Sunni, or you were a Shia, or you were a Yazidi or a Kurd in Syria, the only thing that if you ever went against the regime, you're in big trouble. If you didn't go away against the regime, women were walking around in jeans and not burqa'd up. It was like a Western state in many respects, right? Very authoritarian, very evil, But in that respect, there was freedom of religion, and there was freedom of people to, as long as they didn't go against the regime, to dress how they wanted and live their lives pretty much how they wanted on a social level. That will now all be gone. Same as
bit like the
same as
UK.
Afghanistan.
So
Same as
why?
Iran.
A bit like the
Same
UK,
as
Rich.
Chad.
Yeah.
Why are those people? This is what I don't understand, and I don't pretend to. But why are all those people now celebrating the fact that Assad has gone, when it looks to me like he's being replaced with one step down from ISIS?
Well, what I think it is, I mean, let's be fair to some of the people there will not. Some of the people celebrating will not be jihadists, right? Some of the people will be people whose families suffered under Assad, right?
Yeah.
So there'll be normal. No, you see, when Assad was in power, Assad was an Alawite, right? Which is a sect, as far as I remember, it's a sect of Shia Islam, right? That's why they had the pact, the cooperation, and the allies in Iran, because the Alawites, as far as I know, is a Shia sect of Islam. It's like a little, very, very small sect. So they had the whip hand because of the support of Iran and because of the security infrastructure that they'd built up. Obviously, during the civil war, that got degraded. The Russians came in and propped them up. The Iranians came in and propped them up. As soon as Iran and Russia came under pressure, they had to withdraw because of what's happening in Ukraine and what's happening with Israel. They had to pull their forces out of Iran. Turkey came in, allegedly Turkey came in and supported the jihadist groups, and they've made it right the way to the gates of Damascus. But I think the issue is that those people that were being persecuted by Assad will now be very happy that Assad's gone, and that they can have what they see as majority rule in their country. Now, obviously, the fact that majority rule is going to be by Sunni Islamists is a massive, massive problem. That I don't think. I just wonder if these planners in the CIA and in the Foreign Office and in the United States and in all these countries that are involved in this, I wonder, do they realize what the implications are for the people of Syria, or do they just not care that basically ISIS and Al Qaeda clones are going to be running that country? And I think there's a massive danger from Afghanistan right the way across to Syria now of a Sunni caliphate forming with the help of Erdogan in Turkey and Qatar. I think that's, at the end of the day, it's like, okay, Iran might be getting put back in its box, so to speak, but they've got to remember that only 20% of Muslims are. Is it 20%? Could even be less. Maximum 20% are Shia, 80% are Sunni. So
overall, Richard, and you're much more well versed in this area than I am, is it a good thing or a bad thing what's taken place?
I think it's potentially a catastrophe. I think what would have been better would have been, and of course the problem is with Assad and Gaddafi and all these people, they were very, very evil men, but they were actually, and again, you could say the same about Putin as well. And I'm not a fan of any of these people.
Bear the devil you know. Yeah.
If you can bring them into the tent and if you like, civilize them and say, these are the norms by which we want to live, and you've got to get your state and your regime as close to that as possible. That's a far better way of doing it than handing these states over to jihadists. Afghanistan's gone exactly the same way. Now, Russia itself, it's if Putin goes in Russia, that in itself is going to create all sorts of problems, because Russia not only has lots of far right extremists that are even worse than Putin waiting in the wings, it also has a massive jihadist problem as well with Chechnya and Dagestan and all those countries to the north of Afghanistan. So all of this is just swirling around, and this has been going on since we basically armed the Mujahideen in Afghanistan in the 1980s and helped them defeat the Russians, and of course that led to the fall of the Soviet Union. So the West has quite happily, when it suits them, used jihadists to achieve their aim. And that's what I think we're seeing here now. I don't believe for a minute that Joe Biden and his lackeys in the White House didn't realize this was going on. And I also don't believe that Joe Biden and his lackeys in the White House didn't realize that this is going to end up causing a massive headache for Donald Trump. So I think there's a lot of geopolitics going on here, but I think at the end of the day, they don't realize the long-term damage that this is going to do to stability in the Middle East. Because again, I mean, if you look at what was happening with the Abraham Accords under Trump, fantastic. UAE, Saudi Arabia, a lot of those Arab countries that would have been at one time quite extreme, being very moderate and actually dealing with a sledgehammer with the jihadists that were causing all the problems. But now the global jihad has been set on fire with what's happening in Afghanistan and what's just happened in Syria. So I think we could be in for a very, very rough time, with jihadist terrorism in the next few years.
It has a whiff of the regime change. I might be miles out, but when they got rid of Gaddafi, thinking it was a good thing, and they ended up with something worse.
Totally.
I don't know.
It's exactly the same, Paul. It's this. They're playing from the same playbook, and this has been the long-term strategic aim of the deep state, of the war machine, because it keeps the forever wars going, and it keeps the flow of refugees coming into the West and destabilizing Western Europe. And I'm not saying that's a deliberate conspiracy, but that's just a fact.
It feels like that. It feels like that, Rich.
It does feel like that.
It feels like it's definitely deliberate.
Because a lot of people what we've got to understand is how stupid a lot of these politicians are. But as Dominic Cummings said, I think somebody mentioned it earlier, as Dominic Cummings said in that video that we've seen, basically it's not the politicians that are running the state, it's the civil servants that are running the state.
Yeah.
And if you try and change that, as Trump's trying to do, so I think there's a lot more going on with this in Syria than meets the eye, and I think it will turn out to be a very, very bad thing, to be brutally honest with you.
Yeah. Stephen Holroyd says, I have my daughter here with my grandson. They can't get anywhere. Stephen, that is a very, very familiar picture, unfortunately. Where are we? Yeah, 3.4 million new homes. That's where are we? Under a million available to our own people, apparently. But I don't even believe it will be that figure anyway, Stephen. So I wouldn't say there's going to be much chance of that changing anytime soon. What's this one?
A lot of people in the chat pool asking about February the 1st. Can we confirm on that now, Rich?
Oh, 100%. That's confirmed. It's going to be in London. We don't know the exact location yet. We've got a few ideas of where we're going to go. We're going to try and do a longer walk this time. There's not going to be a film. There's going to be loads of speakers. It's going to be great. It's going to be a really, really positive event. And at the end of the day, it is dealing with a very serious subject. We're thinking about, obviously the conditions that Tommy's been held in, but not just Tommy. However many, and to my shame, I don't know how many people have been sent to prison for these riots and the disorder and the
we don't know,
social media frenzy.
We don't know. A political prisoner march, yeah?
It's a political prisoner march. But also, I think, actually, I was thinking about this today, and I think if we're going to be in central London, I think we should be calling for Keir Starmer to resign. Because by the time we do our march, the trial of that monster, I'm not going to say any more than that. Everyone knows who I'm talking about. The trial of that savage will be complete. And I think
there could be some stuff that's going to come out.
There could be some stuff that comes out. And if it doesn't come out, there's a cover-up. Either way, that other monster in 10 Downing Street, that slippery snake Starmer, he needs to go. Simple as that.
But what we're going to get replaced with, Rich, that's the problem. Because they've got such a majority here. Are we going to get...
The ginger growler.
That's the problem. Is that worse? I mean, all right, it probably isn't worse. It's a step in the right direction, but it's not good, is it?
It depends on how serious things get. I mean, there's people talking about the budget that what's her name? The chief economist from. Oh no, she wasn't an economist, was she? The chief clerk from the Barclays Bank. She's basically going to bankrupt the country. So they're talking seriously about the IMF having been called in to bail Britain out in under a year's time.
Print more money, which has a long-term effect on inflation and everything.
Yep. And if they have to
fiat currency, fiat currency is under massive threat at the moment. Not just here in the world. I mean,
of course,
this is why crypto assets are going insane at the moment, because there's a lot of people worried about their currency.
Totally.
And that's
totally.
a big
Rachel Reeves, her name slipped my mind for a minute as well. I don't know why. This must be an age thing. Gary Moffat Blues. Thank you, Gary. That's 800 houses a day, 365 days a year for 5 years, 1.4 million. I call BS. Where do they think we are stupid? What do they think we are stupid? It can be
800
picked
houses
Well done, Gary.
apart
Well done.
so easy. It's just
And
nonsense,
how are we going to pay for it?
I want Gary Moffat to be the Chancellor of the Exchequer.
We're
right?
skint, apparently. We're skint. They're going to print more money. Who's going to pay for it?
Well, I think they're going to come for you after your crypto profits, Danny. Epic 2000 would love to know what Trump and William discussed. Cy Harris, thank you very much, Cy. Trump in his best Yosa Hughes voice, shake hands.
You have to be of a certain age to get that joke, but
The British Patriot, you're my biatch now, Macron. Epic 2000 again, thank you. I read that films in America are ditching DEI for MEI, merit, excellence and intelligence. Change is sweeping across America already.
brilliant.
Boy, oh boy, we need some of that. Kenny Milson, cheers, Kenny. As Thomas Sowell said, racism is not dead, but is kept on life support by the politicians and race hustlers.
Yep.
That is absolutely true. We are true patriots. There we go. So Richard was laughing about your elf character, Paul. Don't worry. I'll give him a starring role in one of my future songs. Shrek comes to mind.
Well, listen, so we had Danny's the Incredible Hulk now I'm Shrek. So that must make Paul Lady Fiona.
We are true
Princess
patriots.
Fiona.
Get in touch with me because I've got one or two ideas for Richard for your next video, but we'll keep that secret.
Do not go there.
Mark Shepherd, thank you, Mark. The Royals knighted Harris, Savage Sav. I lost any respect if I had any when they put the sword on their shoulders. I'm sorry, but anyone knighted as a royal past part of the club. Kev Shaw, Trump asked, not you as well as Ali. Best one of the night so far.
I think so.
The Walt XRP, cheers. Pal, 3.5 billion houses would cost 875 billion going on the aversion house price.
That's all right. It's Labour, isn't it?
And Goose Change, there are plenty of dinghies to take them back. Nina Vanava, our lovely regular. Hi, my lovelies. Those who flee their country when there is war are cowards. Wait and see. We will get blamed for that. We get blamed for everything, Nina.
Yep.
That lot.
We get the blame for everything. Right, let's get on to the video that we made the other night, Richard. I thought, personally, was very clear. Did you?
Yeah, I absolutely. I've watched it back because when all this happened, I was going to do a video yesterday, but I got dragged into a quagmire yesterday. It took me a while to get out of, so I didn't make one. But can I just say what I think, Paul, that we said? We didn't say that Tommy was asking people to vote for reform. We didn't say that he was advocating for reform. What we said was he's giving Nigel a chance to come to a massive event in, wherever it's going to be. We don't know yet because we've got a long time to work this one out. I mean, this is going to be something that I would imagine will take a lot of planning because it's going to be the biggest event we've ever done. So when Tommy's out of prison, he's had a rest, he comes back. And do you know what? What a hero's welcome he's going to get. Let's just be brutally honest. When he comes back, he is going to get hero's welcome. And what did he do? He magnanimously reached out the hand to Nigel Farage, says, Nigel, this is a big platform for you. Do you want to pass it? We could get 250,000 people in wherever we're going to be to welcome Tommy home, right? And does Nigel Farage want to pass up that 250,000 people and all the other supporters who don't make it? So I think, and of course, it's going to be the pledge. Tommy is going to be signing the pledge at that event. It's massive. It doesn't get any bigger than that, And, Nigel could sign it there as well. It could be an absolutely superb day.
But let's get it clear. Let's get it clear what we didn't say. We did not say, and we never said that Tommy said, oh, you need to support reform. You need to go and vote reform. I'm backing reform. What he said was, would you like to come to our event? Can you, we're going to invite you to our event, and
show some
we're not going to turn our backs on reform yet. Let's give them another chance.
Yeah.
That's what he was saying. Totally. So I think some people have maybe either misunderstood those words, or in some cases maybe even deliberately swapped them around.
Yep.
But I've watched that video back again, and there is it's unequivocal what we said.
Absolutely. And in fact, we actually said the opposite. Well, not the opposite, but what we were saying was, listen, this is you've well, I don't want to go back on about because it gets boring. It's like an old record playing. But the bottom line is, what was been said was, we've all been kicked in the teeth a lot, but we're and especially Tommy's sitting in a prison cell, right? Not thinking about, oh, look what they did to me. He's sitting in a prison cell saying, how can I build unity on the right?
Yeah.
Okay. And that is what this is all about. It's about building unity on the right. And I'm getting sick of petty party politics. Absolutely sick to the back teeth of it. To the fact where I'm actually done with it, right?
And egos.
And I'm the big lad in the big I'm the big dog in the cage here. No, you're not. No, you're not. If you're not in this to save the country, if you're in this for party political gain, then you need to just pack up your tools and go home. It's as simple as that. And that's what we've been saying, that we're not interested in the rosette anymore. We're interested in saving our country, and however we do that. And I'm going to tell you now, the only show in town is the pledge at the minute. It's as simple as that, because that's not party political.
Yeah. But as I just want everyone to understand that. If anyone did misunderstand that or take it the wrong way, I want to put that right.
Well, do you know what I'm angry about, Paul? I'm angry about people causing mischief. People causing unnecessary division by completely misinterpreting what was said there. And, I'm about sick of people, trolls hiding behind false names and attacking people, or people that haven't got the guts to say it to your face, doing it in a snide way. Because the reality is, what you said was very, very clear, Paul. It was an exact representation. You even wrote down what Tommy had said to you when you came out of there. So, if they've got a problem with what you said, then they've got a problem with what Tommy said. It's as simple as that. Yeah. And I doubt very many of them have got the guts to come out and say that, considering that man has done more for this country than they will ever do, and showed far more courage than they will ever do.
Yes,
I'm angry about it all, Paul, to be honest with you, because I've seen.
No, I understand it. I understand that. Just to reiterate, he's taking the moral high ground. He's doing the right thing. He's being the grown up in the room. Yep. He's the one saying, look, despite everything that you've done to me, here's a hand of friendship. Here's an offer of friendship. Do you want to accept it?
Yeah.
The ball's in Nigel's court now.
Yeah, and the thing is, if there isn't a coming together, if there isn't a reciprocation between all of these parties, if there isn't a coming together between all of these parties, we will lose. And when I say all these parties, I'm talking all of them. The right wing of the Conservative Party, and if they all come over to reform, that's up to them. And all you're left with the Conservative Party is basically the Labour Party. That's up to the right wing Conservatives. They've got to decide what they want to do. From them to UKIP to the Heritage Party and all these other parties, the SDP, all these other parties. There's got to be a coming together of everybody to work together, and Ben as well. Ben Habib, massive in all this. All of these people have got to sit down together and say, how can we actually save the country? Because there's no one party in this country that can do it, and certainly a party standing aloof and on its own, saying it's our way or the highway, and excluding us lot is to me, it's a completely suicidal strategy for the country. They might get another 100 seats.
Another little bit of good news. Another little bit of good news is the recent poll. I don't know if you see it. Only 2 or 3 days ago, puts Reform way ahead of Labour now in the opinion polls. Again, whether that's to be believed or not, who knows?
To be honest with you, Danny, I'm going to be brutally honest with you. I'm so fed up with party politics that I'm not even interested in the polls. What we need is a coming together of people who actually have a serious plan to save this.
Well, the polls can't really be relied on. Look at what's just happened in America.
No, I mean, look,
they had it neck and neck. It weren't quite that.
The reality is, Danny, unless we have something sorted out on the right, a coming together on the right of very smart, very, able and intelligent people. And look, we're just, do you know what? Well, I'm speaking for myself. I'm just a working class guy who takes an interest in this, right? And wants to see the country saved. I can't make the change that needs to be made. It needs those powerhouses, the Douglas Murrays, the Ben Habibs, the Matt Goodwins, the Dominic Cummingses, these guys who are genuinely intellectual, very powerful people, charismatic. We've just seen Alex Phillips on Liam's show, those sort, Jared Batten, those sort of people, they're the ones that need to be coming back into the ring and saying, right, let's sit down and work out how we're gonna fix this.
How are we going to come together?
We've said it before. Put a small room together can change everything. It hasn't even got to be a big, vast room. It doesn't need loads and loads of people.
Do you know what, Danny?
Right people.
Do you know what, Danny? Do you know how difficult that is to achieve? I mean,
amazingly difficult.
Trust me when I tell you, there are things that have been going on in the background for almost a year right now. And I've got to tell you, we're as far away today as putting that room together as we was then.
Yeah.
And it's all down to egos and people.
Egos, exactly that. And difference of opinions.
Slight differences of opinion as well. Slight differences of opinion. And I keep saying to everyone in the room, everyone that I speak to, I say, you've got to look at the bigger picture. And the only people or the only person who is a leader, if you like, as in like top of the tree.
Ben.
Well, there's Ben, and Ben gets it, but he's not a party political leader right now.
Not yet.
Tommy gets it, and as he's proven this week by saying, here's our hand of friendship again. Do we have another go at this? Is there a second chance? And all the other people that matter seem to be incapable of looking past it.
Yep. And Paul, this is where the pledge comes in. This is really where the pledge comes into its own. And again, it's like anything. Whenever you try and do something positive, you always get a lot of blowback. And I get a lot of blowback. I don't care. I do not care what people think about what we're doing, right? But the pledge has a massive amount of potential to bring our community together in one place. And then, like I say, if we have over 1 million people sign that, but I would like to see 1 million people by this time next year, right? It's not as fanciful as the Ginger Growler and her 3.5 million homes or whatever it is she's going to build. She may get on the tools because everyone's going to have to be helping her. But the truth is, if we get 1 million people signed up to that pledge and we have we can we know where everybody is and we can basically target constituencies on the grounds of the data that we've got and communicate with our people, we've got a chance of doing something really,
we can
really
make a
amazing.
Big difference. We can make.
Do you know what, Paul? Do you know what I like
difference.
about the pledge? There's nobody there with an ego, right? There's nobody on. I mean, you know yourself. Nobody even wants to say who did it, right? It's like it's like we're gonna have to bring Colombo in. We're talking about Colombo the other day. Just one more thing. Who did the pledge? Well, that doesn't matter. What's important is it's going to work. And again, if you haven't signed the pledge, get on it. thepledge.org.uk. Sign up, and that has the potential to get a grip of these politicians and give them a good shake. Because I'm done with it. I am done with petty party politics, egos, massive inflated egos that really haven't achieved anything. I'm done with it. And to me, it's the only show in town.
Well, it's getting to the point where I feel the same way. By the way, if anyone wants to write to Tommy, the address or the email address is in the on screen now, emailaprisoner.com. You've got his name, his number, and the prison. So if you take down those details, either take a screenshot of it, photograph it, or grab a pen and paper, those are the details that you need. I'll put the pledge address up in a moment. But, you know, you're right, Richard. I mean, Danny, look, we've been working so hard and we've been busting a gut to bring people together. At times it's worked. At times we've succeeded in bringing people together. There's still a great deal of work to do. But Richard's right. If these people can't look past their own egos, if they can't look at the bigger picture, they need to all budge. We have a serious problem if they won't.
Yeah, exactly that. We've got to all throw the ideas in the hat, and everyone's got to come out with a little bit of an agreement, a little bit of a movement on what their beliefs are to make this work. And if everyone can do that, then we might have a fighter's chance.
Look, no name. Sorry, Richard. Look, no names. But I'll give you a little example. There's been a couple of people who I've messaged. They're on the periphery. They're not superstars. They're not even on TV.
Yeah,
they're not even on TV. They're just people that are on the periphery of this group or that group. I've sent them a message saying, "Listen, let's get together. We need to." You know, they don't even reply.
Yeah, most
do, but some of them don't even reply. That is how much they care. Now, I'm not saying that, you know, I'm important. I'm not important, but what I am is part of a group that can be important. And if they don't want to interact with us, if they're not interested in using what we have, speaking to us, getting into a dialogue, you know, building bridges, coming together, they're a waste of time.
Yeah.
I agree.
And I don't even know why they're in this bloody game.
I absolutely agree, and I think from the point of view of how we move, how I'm going to move this forward, my efforts are going to be in the pledge now. My efforts are going to be absolutely fully focused on promoting the pledge, on building it up, on encouraging people, trying to get people because the thing is about the pledge, it's such a positive thing, such a positive document. And we're not asking people to be party political. We're not asking people to join a political party. We're just asking, do you support these values?
Free. There's no donation.
It's free.
It's free completely.
Yeah, it's free. We're not asking people for £1 every time they sign the pledge. You know, basically we're saying just get involved in this Magna Carta for the 21st century. And when we get a critical mass of people, and it's going extremely, you think about what we've achieved without spending a penny.
Still a soft launch. Yeah, still a soft launch.
A very soft launch, very organic. And we haven't even started pushing the organic stuff out on a big scale. And we're up near 50,000. I mean,
and we need you guys to help us get our Christmas present by getting it up to 100,000.
Well, I want to have more people on the pledge. I'll be honest with you, Paul. I'm just going to be brutally honest, right? I want to have more people sign up to the pledge than are members of Reform.
Yeah.
That's what I want. Because
by the end of the year.
It's not to be arrogant. It's just to say, look, this is what can be done when we bring people together. And that's what I've noticed. It's almost like a sectarianism. Well, I'm for this party, I'm for that party, and I'm puffing my chest out. And we've all done it. I've done it. So, but I'm honestly, I'm moving away from that. I'm not going to play those games anymore. And I want what's best for all of our people. And find a way that we can bring it together.
It's club football versus international football. That's
there
what
he
it
goes
is.
Again. There he goes again with his football analogies.
I'm going to lose Danny now. So, you've got all these people that support one club or another. They need to, if this is the World Cup, we need to come together and play the national team.
Yeah.
And we need to win it. Your club loyalties, your party political, they've got to go out the window. We need to get together. Let's move on to probably our last subject of the evening, which is Donald Trump and Elon Musk. Now, when I spoke to Tommy the other day, I spoke about this in the video as well. He was saying how much he would love to go to America, love to get the chance to meet Elon Musk, and maybe even one day Donald Trump himself. Richard, I think we can try and make that happen, Yeah. I really do. I really do.
I was thinking about this, and I'll tell you offline. But there's people that we know who have connections with Steve Bannon and people like that. So we could reach out through there. So I'll talk to you offline, and I'll tell you who I'm talking about.
Yeah, I know you're talking about.
Yeah. So, and again, it's very much up to them whether they want to cooperate on that. But there are people we can go to and talk to about that. So yeah, I think it would be, and I think, do you know what? I believe in miracles. It's Christmas time, right? And I do believe in miracles, because when you look at what happened with Trump, look at what that man survived.
Yeah.
I mean, that was a miracle, right? So,
well, he's
why
not
have
in yet, though, Rich. He's not
well,
in yet.
But he will get in, Dan. There's nothing going to happen.
Hopefully, hopefully, I hope.
No, it's not.
Unless, of course, there is a war, then he doesn't get in.
Well,
let's hope not. Let's hope.
I don't think they're going to stop him. I think because if they try to stop him, I think there would be a lot of problems in America. But I think the reality is, when Trump gets in, why not get Tommy out there when he gets out of prison? Listen,
absolutely.
Jerry Adams and Martin McGuinness. Martin McGuinness was a mass murderer, right? End of story. They got to meet the President of the United States. Simple as that. And they were terrorists, right? Sorry, Jerry claims he wasn't a terrorist. Okay, whatever. But Martin was definitely a terrorist, definitely leader of the IRA. And he met with the president, and he met with the Queen.
Yeah.
So why can't Tommy meet the President of the United States?
Who killed Charles's uncle?
Absolutely. You talk about being magnanimous and being forgiving. The fact that the Queen did that, people were going on about, it's very hard for Martin McGuinness to shake the Queen's hands. Tell you what, it was a lot harder for the Queen to shake Martin McGuinness's hand.
And she did that. She did that to make Northern Ireland a better place.
Yeah.
Yep.
Kev Shaw, thanks, Kev. Sweden have changed their ideas. If you don't like Swedish culture, leave. It's starting to change everywhere in Europe, except for the UK.
Yep.
Exactly what I was going to say.
Epic 2000, cheers. Syria houses Russia's only navy port on the Med. This could be a big loss for Russia. Geopolitical gain for the West. The US already bombing Syria today.
The question is, who are they bombing?
Yeah,
that's the question. Who are the US bombing? Are they bombing the chemical weapons stores, or are they bombing what's left of Assad's regime on behalf of the jihadists? That's what I want to know.
Paul O'Keefe, thank you, Paul. Greetings from MAGA in the USA to all UK patriots. Please think of Tommy in his cell this Christmas season, as we are enjoying the warmth and fellowship of our families. Paul, God bless you. Thank you very much. God bless America. A1 Robot, you should come out in support of the Homeland Party. They are all radicals. I believe it's better for reform if you do. Your backing will send shockwaves. Thank you so much for that.
Just no.
Go on.
It's just no. That's it.
Nigel Brayshaw is a new member. Thank you very much. Nancy, where are you there? There you go, Nancy. Thank you. From California, is that? God bless you. No, not Canada, right? Canadian. God bless you, Paul, and God help the UK and Canada and Israel and the entire world from democracy haters. Thank you so much, Nancy. That is very, very nice of you indeed. AC, Spartan, Child Protection Team founder facing court in January, being silent, same as TR. Respect to you all. Phil, thank you. Think Santa will bring us a new government if we wish for one? Oh, that'd be nice. Weedy Bear, Paul, Trump will be saying, don't worry, the guillotine is quick. I like that.
Lovely.
David Crosby, Trump feels like I'm handshaking a Smurf. Nina again, Nina Vanava. Thank you, Nina. Oh, did I laugh when Starmer got invited to France and Trump shaking and with William. Oh, what a shame not. Nice one, Nina. Cheers, Alice. Gifted a membership. Thank you very much for that. What have we got here? Kev Shaw. Sir Tommy, not Sir Uggit Khan.
True.
Forever Marvel. The video you posted, Paul, of you crying was powerful. It teared me up too. Tommy, and at the end, bless him. Yeah, it was a powerful little clip that. Realm Caster, no, it came across as back reform. That is how it was received. That is how it was understood. But Tommy was right. This is bigger than him. I don't understand that. Do you, Richard?
No, I don't. It's not what I mean, I was obviously on the video when we made it, and I did watch it back. I didn't pick that up from the thing. It was very obvious what Tommy had said. I think did you say give reform another chance? I think maybe, but that doesn't mean the same.
That's not backing.
That's not saying vote for them.
Yeah.
The reality is, people need to. Well, anyway, yeah.
Mind you, be fair. Look, I get it. I get that part. Some people could say, if we're going to give them another chance, that is saying back them. But that wasn't the message. The message was, here's our hand of friendship. Do you want to accept it? Will you come to our next event? And
I think the message is very clear, right? And the message is very clear that we need unity. That what's out there at the minute is not fit for purpose.
Yeah.
Simple as that. Simple as that. And it needs to be whipped into shape and kicked about the room until it is fit for purpose. That's the bottom line.
Absolutely.
It's
Absolutely.
you got to break a few eggs to make an omelette, haven't you? So I mean, we've got to really, we just need this coming together, Paul. And I'm very extremely frustrated about it, to say.
And it needs to start happening as well, doesn't it? It needs to start happening.
The clock's ticking. This is the same with the pledge. I mean, this is what I've said about this. Is why I'm so sort of, on it with the pledge, because this is all time specific. We need to have 1 million people as soon as we possibly can, and I would like it to be by next Christmas, right? That's what we need for the pledge. And if we have that, then we can go to all these parties and say, right, there's 1 million people supporting our idea of bringing people together under these principles, uniting the kingdom under these principles. Are you in or are you out?
Yeah. And
that's basically it, isn't it?
And I think that's what we're pretty much saying to Nigel right now. Are you in or are you out?
That's exactly it.
Here's our hand of friendship. Here's our votes. Here's our people. Are you in? Are you out? Laura, thank you, Laura. Next 3 weeks.
Laurie,
sorry, Laurie, not Laura. It's a bit. This text is a bit small for these.
I've seen this Christmas card. I've been sent it. Very kind of you.
Next 3 weeks will be the toughest for Tommy. Sending him a Christmas card tomorrow. Hopefully, he keeps his spirits up. He shouldn't be there. Again, his number and the email address is at the bottom of the screen. Please make sure you send him a nice message. He would really appreciate it. Linda, thank you very much. Really appreciate that. Good evening, gents. Lovely to hear some light-hearted banter tonight amongst the more serious subjects. More and more people are waking up, and we should all try to keep positive and work towards unity. Unity is the word for 2025.
There's an awful lot of people now that are seeming to be waking up. Do we all get that impression? Do you get that impression,
yes.
Rich?
Yeah, I do. But like
seeing
I say,
what's going on, zooming
Danny,
out,
it's all for nothing unless we have a solution. It's all
of
for
course.
Nothing
Well, we've got the solution. We've got the solution. Back over to the people.
That's what I'm saying. Get the pledge done and get these politicians shaken up, right?
And once again, who has got the ball rolling? As we approach the end of 2024, as Kev Shaw says, a rise for Stephen Yaxley, and who has once again Tommy has taken
from inside his
prison cell.
21 hours a day locked up, not speaking to anyone. Just let that sink in. Politicians and your egos, just let that sink in. He's behind the door 21 hours a day, and you're, I can't go and support that lot. No. You need that lot support. In fact, the country needs that lot support, and this has to happen. I'm done with it, Paul. To be honest with you, I'm done with egos and politics.
Listen, mate. In 1914 and in 1939, it's that lot that stood in the trenches and run across fields to save this country. That lot. Yeah.
And in 1969 and 1970 and 1972, right the way up to 2007 in Northern Ireland.
Absolutely.
It was that lot that protected this country from terrorism. So, I didn't see... it's funny, when I was in Belfast, doing what I did, I didn't see Keir Starmer there. He was about the same age. I didn't see him, patrolling the streets of Northern Ireland, trying to keep the people safe from terrorism. I didn't see Nigel Farage there. Strange that, isn't it? Because they were all enjoying their university time or their prosperous careers, while young soldiers were laying their lives down to protect the country from terrorism. Because let's get it right, those bombs and bullets came across to the mainland, and if it wasn't for the British Army being there, there'd have been a lot more carnage than there ever was. So you're absolutely right on that, Paul. Absolutely 100%. Same as in Afghanistan, Iraq.
Absolutely, Afghanistan, Iraq, the Falklands.
Yep.
Kenny, thank you, Kenny. Don't forget there is a Scottish general election in another couple of years. If Reform show more presence here, fast, we could have a Conservative Reform coalition, which could be an indicator on a national level.
Yeah.
I think the Welsh elections as well are going to be massive. Choose change. The true leader is not the one who commands the most, but the one who inspires the most. That
Absolutely.
is a brilliant message. Thank you, Hoffman Singh. Appreciate that. A1 Robot, Homeland PT will talk to you. AFD Martin Selner. Dio, is that? Thank you for that. Epic 2000. Have we considered writing out to the Christian Institute to get the pledge out? It's out to its following.
Good idea.
Christian Concern, etc., etc.
I spoke to Christian Concern. I'll be speaking to them again in the new year.
Good idea. What about getting a map of all the churches in the UK and having volunteer reps reach out? That's a great idea. No more supers tonight, guys. Thank you very much. We'll be wrapping it up in a few minutes, but not before. I've got a question for Danny, actually. David Crosby, Danny is Phil Collins, Rich, Peter Falk, Paul, the Gladiator.
You ain't heard me sing.
David, top man. Richard, you did promise before we started the show.
How did I go? I think at one point I was Jean-Claude Van Damme, and now I'm Peter Falk. How's that even happened?
Close one eye, Rich. God,
just one more thing.
Rich, you did promise.
Well there.
I'm gonna get a flasher Mac and a cigar. I'll borrow it off you, Paul, because I know you've got a flasher Mac. Danny, if you can give me the cigar, then I'll do Peter Falk for the Christmas special.
And another thing.
Cheers, Steve. I got the same impression as Realcaster 2 help reference.
What's
Rich,
your question?
You promised that you were going to sing us a Christmas song before.
No, I didn't. No. Listen, if you want to listen, I've lost you enough submissions, Paul. You don't want to lose any more, mate. Come on.
Robert Lowe's, cheers. Nightmare on Carl Street, not knighthood. Yeah, absolutely. Kev Shaw, I got 5 of my mates to sign the pledge this weekend. Brilliant,
Kev.
Well
done,
brilliant. Nice one, Realm Caster. Yes, I signed the pledge. Any movement, PDF with pledge, and I am in. Brilliant. Right,
thanks.
That's the end of the supers. No more supers, please, guys. Right, Danny, when is the Fury Usyk fight?
This month, isn't it? Sometime. I don't even. I've really been out of the game. Did you
see the promo for that fight?
Yes, it was absolutely embarrassing, in my opinion.
Oh my God! I mean,
it's like an Oscar. It's a disgrace, Paul. It's just boxing's gone. The likes of Tommy Fury, and they're all just, mate. It's finished. Boxing. That was AI. You got to say that was AI taking things to a different level. Yeah, it was indeed, mate. It really was indeed. I'm sorry about tonight, guys. I've been a bit quiet. I'm in the corridor of the. God, there we go.
What is that, Danny?
That ain't me playing that. It's not me playing that.
It's Richard.
It's not me, mate. It's not me.
You wanted me to sing. And then I just thought, no, copyright strike, get that off.
Yeah, sorry, guys. I've been quiet tonight because I'm in the corridor and it's almost 12 o'clock here. So
Danny, a few people have been asking our Sophies. Just give us an update, family, all right?
Yeah, she's all right. She's not good, but she's come to terms a little bit with what's gone on. It wasn't just a losing a baby, that she had to go under the knife to have things sorted out. So she's recovering quite well. We've come to Madrid for a few days just to try and get a little bit of a break from things.
So what's Madrid like? Give us a quick rundown on Madrid as well.
It's a bit like Oxford Street, to be fair. It's lovely. It's really Christmassy, really, really nice here.
Only your watches being stolen, and if it's like
nothing, mate. I was just going to say there's a massive police presence here. I think that's just because of the numbers of people around it. It's really, really mobbed down there. It's like, but it's fantastic, really Christmassy, and it's actually really cold, which is quite nice for a change, because obviously Madrid's more up north than where I live, because generally it's still boiling hot where I live. We're here for a few days. As I say, I've had to be a bit quiet tonight because I'm in the hallway, soaked to sleep with car. Couldn't go downstairs. There's all music playing in the foyer and stuff, and this was the best place. So I'm very conscious about people being asleep down the corridor. But yeah, it's been lovely, mate. It's been lovely.
So a last bit of news. One of our mutual friends, Danny, you probably know because you're in the. You would have seen this last night. One of our mutual friends went out for dinner with his wife last night, and guess who he bumped into in the restaurant?
Yeah, I know. I'll let you tell him. But yeah, it was
Nigel Farage.
Mr. Reform himself. Mr. Reform. I had good pictures with him as well.
Bumps into Nigel Farage, had a word with him, said, when are you going to have a word with Full P?
Did say that, invited you, and he said he'll get on it, allegedly.
Allegedly.
He did say that. Yeah. Well, he might have just said it because he didn't want to right-hander off the bloke.
Well, exactly. Yeah. I wouldn't take too much notice of that. Right, guys, if you haven't seen Liam Tuff's interview with Alex Phillips, I'm going to have a little watch of that when I climb into bed later on. I told my wife that I'm still a romantic.
I'm just thinking, Alex Phillips climbing into bed. Come on, Paul.
It's past the watershed, isn't it?
Dear, oh dear. Well, I can't take you lot anywhere, can I? Right, let's have a little look. An hour and 22 minutes. I think everyone's going to have had enough of us tonight. Over 6,000 people still in the room. Before you go, everyone, please give us a thumbs up. We are building up towards Christmas, and what I plan to do as we build up towards Christmas, we are going to lighten the mood. We're going to be talking about the ghosts of Christmas past. We're going to be talking about Christmas present and Christmas future.
We've lost him.
We've got Scrooge.
We lost you then, Paul. Paul, we lost you then, mate. You froze up.
No, I could hear everything. I could hear everything.
Oh, could you? Sorry, then it might be my end. Sorry, carry on, mate.
So we got Ebenezer Scrooge down the bottom there, somewhere up. There we go. I don't know where Danny. I mean, Danny can be the ghost of Christmas past, I think. Yeah, or whatever.
No, the ghost of Christmas present. The ghost of Christmas.
Yeah, exactly
present.
that.
So we're gonna be talking about Christmas.
Who's going to be Jacob Marley? Who's going to be Jacob Marley?
Let's have a
it's got to be him, isn't it?
Well, he's dead. Jacob Marley's dead. We don't want to put that on Paul.
True.
Who we have for Jacob Marley?
I could be Tiny Tim, couldn't I?
Tiny.
Especially with them ears in that video.
Shall I do it once more? No, I'm not doing it.
No. Put it on full screen and do it. Put it on full screen and do it.
Yeah, full screen. Get rid of us. Put it on full screen.
Yeah, come on.
I'll do it for Christmas. For now, you got to go over and see "We Are True Patriots" video.
It is funny.
I'll give you an impression next time.
I mean,
we are going to be lighting things up.
Thing, Paul, for Urban Scoop, obviously, there's going to be a lot of cost involved for this event in February. So, guys, again, get across to Urban Scoop's website, hit the support button, and give what you can for this event, because none of this stuff is done. None of this stuff is free, And at the end of the day, I know when Tommy goes away, the funds go away, because obviously Tommy's out of sight, out of mind. So if you want a good event in February, get across to Urban Scoop's website and throw them a bit of your loose change. And
let me know as well, guys, in the next few days in the chat there, not in the live chat now, but in the comments below. Let me know what you'd like to see over the next few weeks as we build up towards Christmas. Let me know what you'd like to see, what you'd like to talk about, etc. And we'll do our best to bring you something a little bit more lighthearted. And also over the Christmas period, I'm not going to say just when quite yet, because I've got to speak to the boss and make sure that I get all the family ducks in a row. But I'm going to go live either on Christmas Eve or maybe even on Christmas Day for anyone that's home alone, for anyone that's, hasn't perhaps got someone to be with over Christmas. Well, you're not going to be alone this year because I'll be around and I'm going to be, I'll try and grab one or two other people as well and get them on so that we can, just be together for a little bit over the Christmas period. If anyone is fed up, feeling a bit lonely, we'll be there for you. As always, the Patriotic family will be there. So let me know what you want to see over the Christmas period. And, we'll look forward to getting on it. Richard?
Paul, can I just shout out my channel again, the new channel, Counter Media on YouTube. Please go across there. Need your support, need people subscribing. We want to build up that. And we're going to do all sorts of interesting things with that when we get it up to a stage where it's got some profile, it's got some good views. And obviously all of these videos, or as many of these videos as I can, I'm putting them on Counter Media as well. So yeah, just give it a like, a share, a follow, whatever it is we do, on subscribe on YouTube, and let's get that one lifted up. We're on about 1,600, I think, at the minute, which is it's a new channel, so it's going to take a bit of time. But we need your support because we've got to have as many channels. I don't know about you, Paul. I think the more YouTubers there are, the better. A lot of people are sort of very precious. Oh, I don't want to promote other people's channels. I think we promote everyone's channel.
Absolutely.
I was on with Baraka tonight, and there's this guy who was in the chat, and I think he's got a Twitter and a YouTube thing. So we gave him a lift, and I don't have that much going on, but it's about helping everybody to build the profile, because sooner or later there's going to be some absolute gem pops up that's going to be someone who has a lot of solutions and a lot more skill and ability than I've got, and will be able to really, make a massive difference.
I think the man over here should maybe think about starting his own YouTube channel.
Absolutely.
Paul, listen, I haven't got the time, brother. You know what I mean? I'm happy to appear on your channel, whatever, be with Rich, whatever. But I just don't have the time.
Well, look, Danny, listen, Danny, as you're in Madrid, I think there's a flannel. I think there's a flannels in Madrid. Just remember, extra large. You know the brands I like. I won't be offended, and it is Christmas.
All right, I'll look there tomorrow, mate.
Right, boys. I'll see you all soon. Thanks to everyone for watching tonight. Have a great and safe week, and we will see you soon. I'm dropping a video, I think, tomorrow. Make sure you watch it. I've been having trouble with YouTube. I think they've got the ump with me a little bit at the moment. So please give us a thumbs up. Please make sure you're still subscribed. And as always, share and do all the usual YouTubey stuff. We'll see you soon.
Good night, everyone.
Yeah, thanks, guys.